Hi, my name is Brian Sexton, and today I'm going to share with you the Three Good Things intervention. It's a resilience exercise. It's our most popular resilience activity that we offer at the Duke Patient Safety Center. Let me talk a little bit about where this came from in this brief video. We know in healthcare right now, if you look across different professions, whether it's perfusionists, surgeons, nurses, administrators, people work in IT, administrative support, about 1 out of 3 folks who work in healthcare today meet the criteria for not mild, not moderate, but severe emotional exhaustion, otherwise known as burnout. So it's 1 out of 3. You look left, you look right, you look in the mirror, one of them is burned out. In primary care, it's over half. In emergency medicine, it's over 60% of them meet the criteria, the diagnostic criteria for burnout. So it's a pretty significant issue in our industry, and one of the easiest, lowest hanging fruits, low cost to no cost intervention to work on this from our perspective at the Patient Safety Center is the Three Good Things intervention. What is Three Good Things? In a nutshell, the efficacy of Three Good Things trends better than Prozac, but we'll talk about that here in a second. Where did it come from? Marty Seligman was the president of the American Psychological Association for 9 years. He's a clinical psychologist. He founded the field of positive psychology. He created the Three Good Things originally as a gratitude journal where each night before you go to bed, you write down 3 things that went well that day right before your head hits the pillow. He covers this and other positive psychology interventions in his book Flourish, A Visionary New Understanding of Happiness and Well-Being. But let me break down 3 good things for you in a nutshell. Barbara Fredrickson's a psychologist who says the negative screams at you, but the positive only whispers. If you've ever noticed that it's hard to remember a good joke, then you understand that the positive only whispers. You will eventually be in your late 80s with full-bore dementia. You won't be able to recognize your own children in a police lineup, but if you hear a rattlesnake rattle, you'll think, oh snap, that's bad, right? What is that? That's bad. I know that's bad, right? Because the negative stays with you. We are hardwired as human beings to remember the negative, to reflect on the negative, to notice and recall details from the negative. So the negative screams at you, but the positive only whispers. And we have a strong negativity bias as human beings. This is part of what feeds in to burnout, because it's easier to remember the heart-breaking moments at work every day than to remember the heart-warming moments. And every day there's a little bit of both, but we're tuned into explicitly the heartbreaking moments. So if we can remember, number 1, we're hardwired to remember the negative. The second point we need to make from this is that we have enhanced recall of material that we learn or review or reflect upon during our last 2 wakeful hours. So what's the best time to study for boards? Not 10 a.m., 10 p.m. What's the best time to reflect on what's gone well today? Not at lunchtime. It's right before your head hits the pillow, as close to sleep onset as possible. Now, what you do during your last 2 wakeful hours is what you're going to recall in your dreams, and you're going to recall that information more accurately and for a longer term. So whether or not you're reading mom porn like Shades of Grey or playing Angry Birds on an iPad, that's what kind of sticks with you as you're going off into dreamland. Why not spend that time reflecting very briefly on what are 3 things that went well today and what was my role in bringing that about? Because the efficacy of this intervention is just so very powerful and impressive. So number 2, we remember things during the last 2 wakeful hours, so you want to do 3 good things as close as possible to bedtime. You should do it practically when you're in bed. Number 3, with practice, by day 4 or day 5 of doing 3 good things, you actually are going through your day noticing more positive things. Your heartwarming moments-ometer is finely tuned. You're catching them, you're noticing them more readily, and saying, I can put this in my log tonight, because you've actually flexed a muscle and enhanced your ability to take in those positive moments. So by day 4 or day 5, you're actually noticing more positive. Not that more positive is happening, but that the positive that is out there is making it more readily onto your radar screen. This has been published. The original randomized clinical trial was demonstrated by Marty Seligman and his colleagues, where they demonstrated this in nicely controlled, kind of empirically rigorous conditions, and showed that 3 Good Things actually trends slightly better than Prozac and other SSRIs. Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors work really well for people with severe depression, people with mild or moderate depression. They are actually no better than a placebo or a sugar pill. So the great thing about 3 Good Things is it works for severe, mild, moderate. It also works for people who have no depression at all. It actually enhances your happiness and helps you with work-life balance and reduces your burnout. So it works beyond just the traditional variables of happiness and depression. What's interesting here is in the original study that Marty Seligman published with his colleagues, if you look at 6 months post, if you look 6 months after having done this intervention, it looks like you're still on Prozac, even though you only did it for a week. We now know you should do 3 Good Things for 2 weeks because you can make longer make the effects of the intervention last longer by doing it for 2 full weeks. And we've got some tricks to help you kind of stick with it for the full 2 weeks. How do we do that? If you register with one of our 3 Good Things cohorts at the DukePatientSafetyCenter.com, www.DukePatientSafetyCenter.com, you can actually, you give us your email, we will give you an informed consent. If you agree to participate in the research, we will send you an email at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that looks like this. Please follow this link to go to your 3 Good Things log for today. The next thing that comes up, if you press next, is would you like to share or not share your 3 Good Things? We do this because some people say things like, oh, today I took the stairs instead of the elevator, I'm trying to take care of myself, or I stuck to my diet. Other people say things like, oh, I asked for sex with my spouse tonight, I got it, yeehaw, I'm so happy. You can see where some things you might want to share publicly, where other people can read it, other things you want to keep private. Let's say that you hit share, and by the way, 3 Good Things works whether or not you share, which is really cool. We haven't published that yet, but the effect is the same, whether or not you share. And there are a lot of people who don't share who are voyeurs and go read all the comments of people who do share. That's okay, you're welcome to do it. You get an email like this. If you click on the link, you go to 3 Good Things, number 1, number 2, number 3, and then we have another activity. So you enter what went well today and what was your role in making it happen, and then we ask you to select from a pull-down menu, what is the positive emotion that best fits how this good thing made you feel. Now, you can fill this in. My 5-year-old swam across the pool at the YMCA today without any floaties for the first time. I'm so proud of her. What was the positive emotion? Pride. Good thing number 2, I watched a glorious pink and orange sunset behind rolling hills where the leaves are changing with these fall colors. It was just beautiful. What was your positive emotion? Awe and wonder. So you select that. You get to savor your 3 Good Thing entry from earlier today just by thinking, what was the emotion? That's what it was. It's kind of a nice little, it just takes a few seconds to do it, and it actually enhances the effect of 3 Good Things. Good thing number 3, I made my wife laugh today so hard that her eyes watered, and so did mine. You could put that under amusement, you might put that under love. You pick an emotion to go with it. When you're done, you hit submit. You're redirected automatically to a log of all the good things that were entered by participants the previous day. So you can see how other people use it. And seeing how other people use 3 Good Things can be very helpful and inspiring. It can keep you kind of on the path of doing it. The email reminders help. The ability to see how others use it helps to keep you doing it. The very first time we did this in the neonatal ICU, we actually found that these are word clouds on day 1 versus day 14 of 3 Good Things. They're talking less about work, less about time, more about family, more about home, more about husband. You can see that they're moving in the direction of more work-life balance. And the great thing about this was the first time we did it, we saw an increase in happiness and a decrease in burnout. So just the same effect. We started adding more variables to the cohorts. We did this next with our Duke internal medicine residents, found some very impressive results about not just burnout and depression and happiness, but also work-life balance. Essentially, these residents, these internal medicine residents, we announced 3 Good Things at noon conference. We had them register during noon conference for the study if they wanted, and then every day for the next 2 weeks, they got a 7 p.m. email from us that said, what were your 3 good things? And they entered it. We found lower burnout, lower depression in the post. They experienced fewer delays. They had less conflict with colleagues, fewer disruptive behaviors, and better work-life balance. They got home on time more often. They skipped fewer meals. They ate fewer kind of poorly balanced meals, and they reported better sleep quality. All of this is really good for your work-life balance. The greatest thing about this, too, is that the residents really enjoyed participating in the research, and when they were done, they were like, hey, I kind of like that 3 Good Things thing. What else you got? You got some more stuff like that? That was very encouraging. If you look across the Duke University Health System, these are 258 bars, 258 clinical areas and work settings across my health system, where you can see the percent of people reporting resilience. This is the percent of people, each bar is the percent of people who do not have any burnout, not mild, not moderate, not severe, not at all burnout. And it ranges from 10% to 70, 80% or more reporting burnout. When you look at internal medicine residents at Duke in the pre versus the post, they climbed up a quarter of the distribution in 2 weeks of doing three good things. We replicated this again when we did this with our patient safety leaders and mid-level leadership across the Duke University Health System, found even stronger effects as we start to kind of tighten up our methods and make this even more convenient, more accessible. These patient safety leaders across our health system went from kind of the mid-range of the distribution, they jumped up like a third of the distribution in just 2 short weeks. These are supervisors, managers, directors, medical directors, even senior leaders, vice presidents, etc. We found that 95% of these folks at the end of the study would recommend three good things to a friend or to a supervisor. So this is easy to do, it's fun to do, it doesn't take a lot of time, and it's easy to kind of encourage your kids, your spouse, other colleagues to participate along in it with you. In our patient safety leader cohort at Duke University Health System, we found significantly lower burnout, lower depression, higher happiness, better work-life balance, improved sleep quality, and there was a trend toward more sleep, but it wasn't statistically significant. But there was a big improvement in sleep quality, which is fantastic. 98% of our participants complete three good things within 3 minutes of starting it. We get that from the timestamps. So it doesn't take a lot of time to do it. It's relatively easy. It's relatively low cost. If you go to Duke Patient Safety Center website, www.dukepatientsafetycenter.com, you can register with whatever cohort we have available for you on the website when you're viewing this video. I encourage you to take advantage of this free resource to help you kind of pull yourself up and start to bounce back from some of the emotional exhaustion and the burnout that you and your staff and your colleagues may be feeling. Goodbye and good luck from the Duke Patient Safety Center.